Today we have on Shane Dulgeroff, Southern California real estate mogul and host of the Shane Homes podcast. We rolled out to Shane's studio and recorded an awesome episode about supercars and real estate. Shane drives a ridiculous Gintani built Ferrari F8 and an Audi RS6. Check out his podcast, the Shane Homes podcast, and social content, and we hope you enjoy. This is the Supercar Connection podcast, bringing you behind-the-scenes conversations from across the industry. If you love supercars, you're in the right place. So let's hit it.
People don't understand that to have a podcast, I don't give a fuck, everyone talks about everyone has a podcast. To be able to run a successful podcast, you need communication skills to another degree that not the everyday person has.
No, I don't think people understand that, like, when you walk into a podcast, you have to, like, it takes a specific skill. Like you said, you need to be a really good communicator and be speaking to somebody and thinking in the back of your brain, what's the next question I'm going to ask them? And people on the other side never do that because they're not podcasters.
So answering questions.
Yeah, you're constantly having to like come up with it.
You also got to be going, would this make a good Instagram clip? And if so, did I say a hook or do I need to say a hook now that they've talked about the topic?
Yeah, we were here backtracking stuff like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll ask the question after it's been answered just so I have a hook for the clip.
That's funny.
Our minds have been, it's like literally if you watched our first episode, well, first off, our first episode never saw the light of day.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. We watched it back and I was like, absolutely fucking not. I was like, there's no way that we're going to air this shit. Let's rerun it. We reran it. We watched the first one back and we're like, all right, it's pretty solid. Put it out there. And if you go back and look at it now, I've never cringed hard in my life seeing just the way that the tone we spoke at, the topics we did, and even just the conversational flow. Like
I've never looked back.
You never looked back?
No, I've never looked
bro,
back.
I had to watch it back. Just
Why?
so I can throw up a little bit. I had to.
Why did you guys want to start your podcast? Like, what was the whole beginning of it?
Look, a great question.
You want me to go into it?
You take it.
So me and Joe played football together at Azusa Pacific University over here in Azusa, California. And we became friends really quick just because we both love cars, just car obsessions. He had a ZL1 Camaro, which was pretty cool. I had an Audi A5 and we just rode to dinners, talked about cars. So after college, we stayed in touch. We're like two of the only ones in the area still.
Yeah, that's true.
Which we were like really close. So it worked out that way. He'd come over for dinner. I'd go over, we'd meet somewhere for dinner and then just cars for like an hour afterwards. So one day I was just like, should we just record this and put it on the internet and see if anyone cares about it?
Do we think people give a fuck enough about our conversations to watch the shit that we say about?
Which part of it too was like, I wanted what we're doing and like, I couldn't really find that, you know, a car podcast that I really enjoyed that was kind of specifically tailored around supercars.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's like what we care about is like supercars.
Literally.
So, we just ran it. We just sat down and did it, and
because our biggest thing too was like kind of how he touched on was like there was no podcast or car talk show that was specifically curated to supercars. Then on top of that was like understanding the mentality and the experience it takes to not only achieve one, but the people that achieve them and what they're like type thing.
Yeah.
So all the guests we have on and stuff like that, not only we talk about their car journey and who they are as individual, but you start to see like a common trait between the people and you start understanding like not only just the car, it's the person that's attached to the car, that it all takes a certain type of person to have this. So the everyday person that might never, ever get the opportunity to experience it, they get the eye into it and they see everyone that has it. And they're like, okay, these are the correlation traits and stuff like that. And it kind of gets people into the world without ever having the opportunity to. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That was kind of like our big thing that we're like.
And it's owners, like talking to people that actually like own the cars, drive the cars. I mean, what I have on like Matt Farah from the Smoking Tire, sure, and he owns some cars, but some of these, you know, like most of the content you're getting on YouTube, it's just people that have the car for 30 minutes, they drive it around and they review it or whatever. That perspective is much different than someone that like owns the SVJ and drives it around. How does that make them feel? And they also own an F8 and they also own a 720. And it's like, what's the differences between those? And like, why do you like that one? And when do you grab the keys for that one? Like, that's such a different perspective. And like, that was always the sort of perspective I was interested in this world, was like real ownership. Cause like, that's what I want to be a real owner, you know, not just like.
And now you are.
Yeah.
You just got a Aston Martin Vantage V8. What is it? 2013. And we were just talking outside. That was my first supercar. Was a gray Aston Martin Vantage. It was like 2018 or something like that. So stoked for you.
Thank you.
Let's
It's-
go.
It's
Literally
beautiful.
took
I'm fired
delivery
up.
like fucking 3 hours. That was just actually perfect.
That thing is fresh off the press.
It was like
I'm
the
still
way
trying
it's
to
set
figure
up
it
was
out.
perfect.
Yeah.
Like literally today could not be more perfect.
No.
We ripped
Today-
over here, like we were driving and stuff like that. And I was literally just like, I was watching him zoom between cars in Mexico, of course.
Yeah.
And then I was just trailing him and looking at him. And I was like, dude, this is a dream. Literally
Yeah.
come true. And then pulling up here and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
As
this
soon as
crazy
he opened the
F8
garage and I
and
saw the
then-
F8, I was like,
Door rolls up. It's like, all right, that's a nice. That's
A day full of supercars. There's nothing better than a day full of supercars.
absolutely
no,
not.
not at all.
It's just not.
Absolutely not.
So what about this thing? Tell us a little bit about this, because I know this is not just a basic F8.
Yeah, it's like somewhere between 900 to 1,000 horsepower. Gintani did the turbos, downpipes, tune.
Gintani turbos, huh?
Yeah.
Alex put his little chubby fingers on there.
He did.
Let's go.
That's what
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
had on this week.
What's that?
We just had Alex on this week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, this week
Dope.
this is the Gintani episode that's running as we
Oh,
speak.
sick.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so I blew the stock turbos on this car. And I was like, well, I'm not just going to replace them. That's kind of
that's kind of yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why would we do that?
So I sent out the cores, Pure Turbos, hooked it up, and they sponsored me with some turbos, sent them back. We put Pure 1000s in it, tuned it, and now it's like, it barely puts the power down. Like, it's so fast. It just like, it doesn't help that it's on 22-inch wheels and not like insanely sticky rubber.
I would say.
But like when it's in CT off mode, which is like not full traction off, but mostly off,
Right.
You're just it's just fucking
Are these pilot
bouncing
sports?
around. What's that?
You got to get some Cup 2s.
Dude, it needs a lot of stuff. It needs smaller rims, it needs stickier tires, but in all reality, I'm in and out of cars so fast that like I never spent the money on rims and tires because in 6 months I'll have an SVJ or 765. One of the two
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll have in like 6 months. So I analyze those things closely. If it's something I'm going to keep like long term, which I never end up doing, like
It sounds like a good idea, and then a couple months go by, you're like, let's get this.
For sure.
no, I thought I was going to keep this car forever.
Really?
I bought it and I was like,
you
oh,
got
yeah,
it?
no, I found a keeper. Like
When did you get it?
You have
How long
no
have you had
idea.
it?
like December?
Bro, you have
December.
no idea.
Yeah, I have a 6 month attention span.
Bro, ask him the same question. I got the 720 and I was like, this is the car. I was like, for the money, what it is, how fast it is. I was like, doors go up. I was like, dude, there's nothing. And now I'm like,
Out of nowhere.
I was like, 812. I was like,
Yeah,
Out of nowhere, he texts me. He's like,
He's
Performante or 812? I'm like, where's this coming from? How about 720?
Performante is dope though.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
Incredible.
I had a perf and an STO, and I honestly liked my Performante.
You had both of those.
I had both
Oh,
of them.
dude, please talk about the
real.
ownership experience of both of those.
Okay, so I
want to get one, and I have to supercharge it if I get one. So if I get one, I'm going in with the mentality that I'm gonna throw a supercharger on it.
you're not gonna like my answer.
Let's hear the shit.
I had a Performante, and I drove my friend's supercharged. Sorry, Nick at VF. I apologize. I drove my friend's supercharged 610. I kind of really like the way the naturally aspirated motor revs out to 9,000, and like the power band is all the way at the top. Like you really get that thrill and that excitement, that visceral driving experience, revving it out to 9,000, and the exhaust note keeps getting better and better and better. Whereas with a supercharger, it's more fun to drive kind of overall, I guess, because it's faster. But I personally, just my driving style, I love like ringing the car out and getting that visceral experience at the top. And the Performante probably did that the best, even better than my GT3 did.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the Performante I had a 992 manual GT3. And I also thought when I got that car, like, oh, this is the end car. This is it. No, I had that car for 3 months. I was
Jeez.
like, dump it.
I
Now
love
I
it.
got this thing.
Did that thing have an exhaust on it at least?
It had headers and no cats, just basically straight
Okay.
pipe.
So yeah, it was loud.
Yeah, it's a doable Porsche.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a doable
loud.
Porsche.
Yeah, it was.
long as it sounds like
but
that,
it
that
was
helps.
the 992 compared to the 991 generation is like more numb.
It's more plug and play.
It's
A million times more plug.
yeah, I didn't like it that much.
Bro, you can put anybody behind the driver's seat of those GT3s, and they'll not only drive well, but they can handle it, they can control it, everything
Yeah.
in between. I just drove a buddy of mine's, literally haven't driven 992 at all, the GT3, hopped in it, was ripping it, and I was like, he has an R1 Motorsport exhaust on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a great sounding car, but just the problem with those things specifically, especially coming from cars like of this level, they're just too damn slow. Like the,
Yeah.
the 720S has destroyed everything for me because I get
Oh,
in it.
you're
and I'm
done.
like-
No, you're
Yeah.
fucked.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
not
sitting
even
here
fair.
like I was asking him. I was like 812 or Performante, and we were kind of the same page. Like Perf is probably going to be a little bit of a better car.
I would, if I had to go one or the other, I would probably go 812.
Really? Why is that?
And a V12 maybe.
And a V12.
Yeah.
And a V12.
That's it?
And a V12.
Simple as that?
That's
V10
it.
and a V10.
But it's in the front, not in the back.
And a
That doesn't,
V12.
that doesn't like...
Yeah, but it's less cylinders.
Yeah.
It doesn't rev out.
Yeah, I
He's
think
not wrong.
10 in the back is like, you know, that's worth, we'll call it an even 10. 12 in the front, it's -2 for being in the front. So they're,
it evens it out.
yeah, it evens
it's,
it out.
it's boy math.
It's
It makes
12,
sense,
but it's
right?
in the
Fucking
front.
bad.
So you got a -2. And then that's the,
I haven't driven an 812 yet though.
I haven't either. So I can't really say.
because I've driven Perfs before, but 812 I want to drive because the fact that they talk about it being front mid engine and the way that the fucking transmission's in the back and everything, they say it's a special driving car, the way it's engineered. So just depending on the drive will depend on my decision because the sound you can't lose. You're either getting an NAV12 or an NAV10. So Perf or 812, you can't pick. I need to drive one.
This company, I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. Top Secret made this exhaust for V10 now, and it literally sounds like an LFA. It's like $20,000, which I think is way overpriced.
20 bands for just an exhaust system.
But if it sounds like an
it's
LFA.
a full header back system, so you got to do the headers and the exhaust. But they do something with the headers, like they change the length, or I don't know what magic they're
20
doing.
grand, though?
20 G's.
Bro, they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
Bro, think
I
about how
would,
much the LFA is simply because it sounds that way. So like,
I would
20
not
Oh, you're
spend
talking
20
about-
G's in a
You're talking
million
about
years.
an exhaust system that Yamaha fucking came in and they make instruments, dog. And they came in and they were like, we're
Trust
going to
me,
put our
I know
glove
what they
on
make.
this.
I'm aware.
That's what I'm saying. And this was it top secret?
Yeah, the company's called Top Secret.
I'm gonna have to look into
I
it.
kind of
Yeah,
I kind
look,
of
once you
before I talk
YouTube
too
it-
much shit about it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
hear it and you're like,
It's-
I would pay 20 bands for
On
that.
YouTube, it sounds crazy. It sounds like a race car V10. Like it sounds like an F1 car. Like they figured out what Gintani did with the V12. They figured out how to do that with a V10.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But again, 20 grand, go fuck yourself.
That's what I think. That's what I'm like, bro, you're fucking
Hey, the
out.
best, if it's the best, it charges a premium.
Yeah. But to answer your question, STO versus Performante, I think the STO looks way sicker. And it's rear wheel drive, but for some reason, I just was more connected to the Performante. I only owned the STO. This is a fucking crazy. I only owned it for a month because I bought it like I paid $260 for the Perf. I sold it for $295 and I ordered an STO like in the middle of that. Then the STO came. I took delivery of it and then I sold it back to the dealership for 60 over sticker. I was like, I like this car, but for 60 grand,
over?
I don't
Take the
care.
shit,
It was
yeah.
like peak COVID bullshit. So there
Yeah.
was like 90K, 95K on 2 Lamborghinis. I was like, yeah, you can have these things back all day. I don't care.
That's crazy.
I don't think there was a better car to be in than any Lambo during COVID peak time. Like
No.
everything skyrocketed, but like if you want to talk about like let's treat them like stocks here. Like if you had to bet on one stock pre-COVID, any Lamborghini, especially probably a Huracan, because you could probably have driven that shit like 30,000 miles and made money during that fucking COVID.
I bought it with like 14,000. I drove it up to like 19 and I sold it for 30 G's more than I paid for it.
That shit was insane.
Yeah.
I remember before everything was like kind of come back down to earth because I feel like we're kind of at a point now where things have come down retrospectively.
Look,
I mean, interest
kind
rates
of.
kind of.
You're not getting purse for 265.
No, you're not.
That was an abnormal rip. My father-in-law used to own like one of the largest automotive auction houses back in the day. So he has tons of connections. And
that's
I
awesome.
was like, hey, I'm looking for this car. He's like, I think my friend just like took delivery of one. And he just hooked me up with his buddy. They sold it to me for
the plug.
small profit and I got hooked up.
You got hooked up.
Kind of got lucky. That's like the only time I've really gotten lucky like that, where it's just like a handoff on a car. Usually I'm like doing a ton of research. Like I'll find that same deal, but I'm going to geek out for months and I'm going to wait and I'm going to call the dealer and I'm going to work the shit out of them until I get the best deal humanly possible. That one kind of got handed to me. So it was sick.
Are you familiar with exotic car hacks?
Yes, I don't understand the concept behind it, but I have seen it. Yes.
I mean, he's
You know the concept
No, I'm
behind
about to start talking a ton of shit right now. But I from what I understand is just depending on how you view it, there's a certain point in every car where the depreciation curve kind of starts to stay stagnant. So like usually traditionally, and then you correct me if I'm wrong here, but like after about 4 years, usually when they do a refresh or like another model starting to release, that 4-year depreciation curve starts to kind of level out. And then once they level out, or once you're at that point of leveling within the car specific to the manufacturer, there's specific options or things that make certain specs rare than others. So if you can capitalize on understanding the difference between them, like for example, like having a Ferrari with a specific red tone or red color versus other ones, and having options depending on their little higher spec and getting those for a good deal, that's when you can capitalize on like being able to drive it 5, 6, 7,000 miles and still make money on it.
Yeah.
You need those premium, kind of like when you're remodeling a house, you know where to spend your money to get your best bang buck when you want the return on investment. It's knowing exactly where to put the money in because you're going to get better return out of it at the end of its lifespan.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the exotic car hacks thing, because we got the chance to go to Boca Raton and sit down with PJ, the founder of Exotic Car Hacks. When you hear him talk about understanding about how to purchase a car at a certain point, a certain time, there's very few people that understand shit like that to that degree.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's kind of
also
scary.
like just hyper knowing, like what you were talking about, researching for months, which is exactly what I do. It's like I research for months, I figure out exactly what I want, and a big thing for him is like what he was talking about, the options and everything, and then waiting for an opportunity where, because if you wait long enough and you know how to negotiate and everything in between, a car with all the right options will pop up at a relatively good deal, and then you can jump on that really quick. And if you're ready to jump, because a lot of times the cars, the best cars are only for sale for like 3 days.
Yeah.
They come up on the market.
Gone.
It's a good deal and it's a good spec. Everyone that's been waiting, like everyone that's watching that market, that comes up and they're like, that's the one. And the first one that's like sees it and calls the dealer, gone. So he's like, you got to find those cars, basically, get them, and then you drive them. Hopefully it's already undervalued. So then when you put some miles on it, you turn around and sell it, you're either not losing much or you're making money. And then the biggest, I guess, key to the whole thing is never buy a new car.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
Unless it's like
Unless it's
unless it's limited. Yeah,
Unless it's COVID or you can get an allocation.
Unless you've got an
at
allocation
sticker,
for
at
something
sticker,
at
and
sticker.
fucking ridiculous. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense.
If you live up Porsche's ass and stuff like that, and you can get those fucking cars,
Dude, it's impossible. I tried so hard when I was buying my 992, and I have like a fair amount of connections through real estate. No fucking shot. I was getting a 992 GT3 anywhere near sticker. It just was not happening.
it's crazy because I feel like it used to be back in the day that like Ferrari was the only moniker that was kind of known for being like that, but it's just through like I guess really demand is really what's changed everything.
Demand has changed everything.
Skyrocketing because the barrier to entry to these cars, think about like 10 years ago compared to now, like we're talking about like not anybody can get a car, but it's a lot more reasonably obtainable to get something like this if you know how to finagle your way through, comparative to like, first off, no one was getting approved for certain amounts without history, structure, and everything between. Now some crypto kid walks in there with some racks and they'll approve them on something ridiculous.
Yeah.
4 or 5
and they'll
thousand
approve you
payment.
on the spot too.
That's the crazy part.
You walk into, this was alarming to me. When I walked into the Lamborghini dealership, all they did was pull my credit and I just wrote down a number with how much money I made. And they're like, seems legit.
We're chilling.
And they just let you take the car. Like, that should not be possible. Do you wonder why there's so many people defaulting on their car loans right now?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of like it goes back to like, now I'm talking drastic, but like, you remember like back in 2008, like just how many bad loans there were out there. It's kind of similar to the point we're at now where like anybody can get a fucking supercar, in the sense where if you know you have a little bit of money and you can prove yourself on credit, it's free game.
Yeah.
Compared to back in the day, you were like, no, you had to be vetted to be able to get something. Where at least now loans are a little bit better comparative because we know the mistakes we made in 2008 compared to now. Now everyone can walk in and get a supercar.
Pretty much.
You
As
can
long
get
as
a
your credit's
10-year
good.
loan too. So like, you don't have to. Someone splits an apartment and then they want to pay $2,000 a month on their car.
You can get a 10-year loan on some of these shits too now.
You
15.
get a 15-year
15?
loan. Yeah.
15 year.
Half
Who the
mortgage.
fuck's taking out a 15-year
Lots of
A
people, bro.
lot of people.
on a Gen 2 R8 or something like that?
There's a company, Woodside Credit. They're like more stringent with their qualifying guidelines.
Yeah,
like
it's hard.
they actually look at your tax returns,
Okay.
and they're only doing that on like certain asset classes. But they have a 15-year term. I haven't done it before, but that seems kind of
tempting.
crazy. But honestly, in all reality, I probably would
I've been
do
denied.
it.
by them.
I would be open to it if I can register it in Montana and I can buy a $700,000 car and keep my payment at a fraction of what it should be, and I'm buying an asset right, my payment's low. The only reason you should really be scared of a low payment is if you're going to go underwater on the car because not enough of it's going towards principal. Other than that, you just want to have the lowest payment possible. That's how I like
and what you're
generally
getting
analyze
in
things.
for. So like if you know, again, it kind of goes back to what we were
Montana's
just talking
huge.
about, like the exotic car hacks theory. Like if you know what you're buying and you can buy a car at a specific price, like it's like even like getting an SVJ now for a fair value with a 15-year, you'll know that you can probably flip that SVJ for racks on top of the fact that your monthly is not what you're worried about. You're worried about what did you pay for it?
Another thing that I'll just openly talk about is you can lease used cars. Not a ton of people understand. There's a company called Amazon Leasing that I do almost all my cars through. And I love it because it's my branding's all over it. It's in every single podcast. The lease payment is a 90% tax write-off. Or 80%, however we frame it, just to stay within like a reasonable guideline. But I'm getting all of that write-off on the payment, and I'm getting to keep all my cash in my pocket so I can go buy more real estate. And on top of that, they have like longer terms, so your payment can stay lower. And what people don't think about with leasing, or maybe they do, is that if you're doing a used car lease, you're not paying the sales tax.
It's true.
And that's where you're saving all the money. So like on a $400,000 car, 10% sales, it's 40 G's up front, just down the drain. Whereas like if you lease it, few G's.
Premier Financial Services,
PFS,
it does the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and also what people don't even really realize is that they call it's a lease, right? But they give you like, because I was looking at doing a car with them, and it's like the residual value is so low that the value of the car it'll never reach that point.
Yeah.
So I remember looking at an R8, and it's like they gave the residual value at 50 grand on a V10 R8. I'm like, well, this car will never be 50 grand. So you're making payments, you're paying off that, whatever. But even though it's a lease, you're still building equity in the car.
And you can
the
buy
car
it
will
out.
never be 50 grand.
Yeah. And you can buy it out whenever you want. A lot of these leases are what's called an open-ended lease. So you can't even return the car to the leaseholder at the end. It's just a financial tool so that you can write off the payment. But
that's why I did lease in the air quotes.
yeah.
This is a lease.
So is
It's
this
got
your
great
full-time
tax
thing right now?
advantages.
Are you guys full-time podcast, or what's your?
Wouldn't
what
that
do
be
you guys do?
nice?
Yeah, well, that'd be a fucking dream. Yeah.
Sick. That'd be
Not
sick.
at all. Not at all.
So what's your day-to-day?
So my main day-to-day is I have a collision center in Hollywood.
Okay.
So that's like the main thing. And then I just got into real estate about maybe like calling about a year ago, and then stock trading as well. Those are my three main avenues.
Sick.
Yes.
And what about you?
I'm in the corporate world, product manager in technology.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it right now.
And this is your fun.
That's it's all
and
I'm gonna
the
say
event,
about that.
I do believe this is one thing. I do believe that this could be your full-time. Like
That's
in the near
definitely the
future.
goal. That's
Yeah.
definitely the goal.
100%,
That's
that's our goal.
when we started. That's what we wanted. That's what I wanted for sure.
And how do you make the time for it?
Just make the time for it.
Figure it the fuck out.
I work.
Yeah.
I
Figure
work
it
from
like
9
anything else in life, bro.
The corporate world, it's like it's 9 to 5. So 5 to 9 is this stuff
Yeah.
for me, because I edit everything. I make all the clips. I do all of it.
Oh, dope.
So that's my nighttime full time. So I'm 2 full-time jobs at the moment,
Yeah.
Literally.
but it's worth it because this part's fun. So
But that's what it takes. That's what people don't understand. Like you got to work 12 hours.
yeah, you got to
more.
figure it out. And I'm married. I got a wife. And she's,
you are?
She's cool with it.
Kids?
No kids. I don't know if we could do this. If I had kids, unfortunately.
No, like you.
No,
It's
it's
very, very
full-
difficult.
2 full-time
You
jobs.
have a kid, SCC is fucked.
Especially because my
Literally.
wife works too. So it's not like she would just be chilling at home.
Yeah. The only reason I'm able to have like the podcast and sometimes work 12 hours and do all this stuff is because my wife does work. Like that's the only reason that's feasible, is because she's in the background doing all of the really hard work, and I'm out building the business, building the brand, closing deals, doing this shit. And that's literally the only reason why I can do it.
It's a partnership, though. It's a team. You guys are
It
a
is.
collective team.
Yeah.
Which is what you need. Stuff like that. You don't need someone that will pull from you or not help you push things. You have the setup you need to make the distance to be the most successful you can possibly be.
Exactly.
Which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Have you ever noticed all the Montana license plates on the Supercars and classic cars at a Cars and Coffee and wonder why that is? Well, Montana has 3 huge benefits. It's a state with no sales tax, low registration fees, and no smog restrictions, so you don't have to be worried about all those modifications you want to do. Now, you don't need any inside knowledge or property in Montana. MontanaTags.com will literally do everything for you step by step to set up your Montana LLC and get your new car registered under it. I just went through this process with these guys myself, and it only takes a couple minutes. Always make sure to follow your state and local laws and visit montanatags.com/supercarconnection or click the link in our bio to get started today. And what is your real estate involvement? You're an agent, you have investments,
So,
all of it across the board, flipper?
Everything that you just mentioned, and I own a real estate firm. So I flip houses. I own a bunch of rentals in like Thousand Oaks, Westlake area.
Long-term, short-term?
All long-term.
Long-term.
I hate short-term rentals.
Yeah.
People have a good knack, like some people have a stomach for it, but I already have good active income that I work for. And that's basically a way of turning your passive income into active income, because you do have to do work for your short-term rentals. They will pay you more money, but you're working for that money.
Right.
So I'm not a short-term
It's
rental
always the
guy.
trade-off.
I already have like an income stream that I like to focus on. So I like that to be as passive as possible.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, flipping, long-term rentals, I own a real estate brokerage. So I have a few agents that work for me. We have like six people that are between like part-time, full-time VAs, all that crap.
10-line dialers, ripping it.
You ripping it.
Skip tracing like nobody's business. Yeah.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly. We just hired 2 more VAs today to like call people and stuff.
I love it.
And then what am I missing? Flipping. Oh yeah. And then selling.
Yeah.
So like my main income stream is selling real estate. So if you want to buy a house, that's my job. That's what I've been doing for 10 years. I started when I was 20. I'm 30 years old now.
Amazing.
And it's basically just time in the business. But out of all of those things, flipping and actually selling real estate are the 2 largest like pieces of the income. And then the other things are just great to have.
That's amazing.
And what is your thing in real estate? You said you just started.
So a buddy of mine, we have a corporation that we're buying out in some Section 8 rentals. This is
Sick.
so that I know that's the fucking biggest trend in the world right now, and everyone's hopping on the whole like, oh, Section 8 shit like that. We've been in about a year now, and we own about a couple houses out in Illinois.
Yeah.
And right in St. Louis area, like the Illinois Mississippi border right there. And then I just purchased, I closed escrow docs. I signed the docs today. We'll probably record and close on Tuesday for another rental here in LA. So I have a little rental portfolio, but my stuff is all in the south side LA. So like downtown, that area. East
Awesome.
LA. Yeah.
And what are you buying out there?
I'm buying duplexes right now.
Great.
Yes. I have 3 duplexes, and I've already submitted plans on 2 of them I'm going to build some ADUs in the back, probably refinance it and retain those rentals.
Amazing.
the monopoly,
That's
man.
the best. That
Nothing
is the
crazy right
best. What you're doing right now is the best fucking thing you could possibly do.
That's it. Add value.
Yep.
And then right now, the whole thing was, I remember a lot of my buddies, because I have been wanting to buy rentals. Him and I talked about this when we were in college. We were both like, real estate investing is probably what we want to segue to. We have to get to that point. I've been wanting to get in the game for years. And you know, that whole like timing the market, buy it now, don't buy now, that bullshit. Like, just get involved and figure it out as you go along. Yeah. I got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to just jump in. And a couple months ago, my friends were like, oh no, you shouldn't buy. Like, interest rates are so high, everything in between. And I was like, no, bro, like I'm going to go for it. Yeah. So my plan is, and then again, you being a vet, you tell me if this is reasonable thinking right now. Yeah. I've been able to put three down in this area in the last 3 months with semi-high interest rates, obviously, because just the way everything is right now. Yeah. I'm going to add value in the back. And then hopefully by the time plans go through the city, the development process, hopefully rates are either down a little bit, or I can even just refinance it normally because I'm adding a ton of value. Yeah. And I'll retain all those properties and pull my money back out and be able to source more deals and do the next line.
Exactly.
Sounds like a decent plan.
Simple. That's what I have done, except for pulling the cash out. I always just like bought houses, turned them into 2 or 3 units. And then, or like back when rates were lower, I bought some luxury single families that used to be great investments, but now like luxury single family houses don't pencil out because of how high rates are. Right. So that's all I've done is buy, add value, and then go buy another one, and then go buy another one. And that's,
use the active to segue it into doing that as well.
I take all of my money for the most part, and that's where I put most of my liquid cash goes back into buying more real estate. I don't care about the stock market really, because I know like I can rip real estate deal. I know what a good deal is. Like we were talking about how, what was his name again? Supercar
Connection.
No.
Oh, PJ's.
Exotic Car Hacks.
Yeah. So PJ knows how to analyze car deals. I know how to analyze car deals, but I really know how to analyze a real estate deal. Like you could put anything in front of me and I can cut it up in 3 seconds and go, no, or I want this right now.
Right.
Like, and there's nothing in between
Like
usually.
I'm writing up the offer. Like, as we
Yeah, like when I buy something, like this house, when I bought it, I knocked on the person's door. The son was a broker. He gave me a price. It was a ridiculously good price. I knew that. And I came back with a contract that night at 8 p.m. So like when I know something's a good deal, I go fast. Just like we were talking about with the cars.
Speed.
A good car comes up, first person there gets it. So like I will work until 12 at night. Like I don't care. If a good deal comes up, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do to separate yourself.
Yeah, you have
Literally.
to.
That's what 10 years on the market will do for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some shit. I've seen a lot of stuff happen. So I know
You're a fucking bet.
when it
But I
happens.
feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. And I feel like it's kind of half-ass cliche to say, but like, in my opinion, like the two main things that like really separate successful people and people who are just kind of complain or they victimize themselves is like, I feel like relatively enough people can understand a good opportunity. Like it's one skill to be able to see something and go, like you said, this is a good deal, right? Then the second part, which I feel like 90%, 95% people that fall off is there's no ever action or led anything into that. But we can sit here and be like, oh yeah, that's a good deal. Like we can find something on whatever we're looking at, be like, oh, this is probably reasonable. You can probably get this and do X, Y, and Z. The person, like you said, who gets up and is like, I'm writing this offer, I'm going to go take it to them, I'm going to finish this shit. That's a person who ends up getting what they want and then they progress in life versus everyone else could see the opportunity and they're like, it's not bad. And they just sit back on their thumbs.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't get talked about enough.
I
You call it
know
luck. It's not fucking luck. It's being in the game and
it's
on it.
Yeah. I know guys that are way smarter than me that have way lower net worths because like I'll just go for it. I don't care. I understand the risk. If I think it's a good deal, the people that win have balls.
lots of them.
Those are the people that do really big things in life. It's like they see the vision, they understand what they want to do, and they just jump on it. They don't know for sure that it's going to work out, but they think it's a good idea and they act on it. And that's like every successful entrepreneur that I've had. And same with you guys, I'm sure, on the podcast, all have balls.
That's it. You gotta have the biggest balls in
And
the
some
world.
of them are really smart too, but most of them, you can't do it if you don't have balls. It just doesn't happen.
I mean, even as simple as like posting things on the internet, the amount of just the things that we see in the comments, you have to just be okay with it. You just have to,
Yeah.
You just have to go, whatever. Like, who cares what they say? Because it's like, and there's a lot of people that it will mess with. Like, a lot of people that do content stuff, they end up getting depressed or whatever, and then they have to quit because like they take comments too seriously, and that starts to weigh on them.
the
And
psychological side of everything.
yeah, you have to just send it. And
Yeah, you kind of have to. And like I luckily through just real estate, like when I was getting started in real estate, I had people that would like steal my open house signs. Like I saw like knives in my for sale signs before because I was young. I was like 22 and I was eating market share. When I was like 23, I started taking a ton of market share in an area that was like all older people. And people didn't like that.
All established people who
People
felt like there's nothing could be disrupted here. But
yeah,
you get a
like
young
I would get
hustler.
reported all the time, but I just kept my head down. And I
reported
went
for what?
to anything, like literally name it. None of it is anything of substance, but like you send out a flyer with something that has like a property on it and it's not listed in the MLS yet. It's coming soon, but you didn't submit it to the board as coming soon. Like they will look for anything to get you on because you're the young dog coming in eating all their food. They don't like it.
and eating a lot of it too. They're fucking probably super pissed off.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a petty world.
Real estate is so cutthroat.
Yeah, vicious.
Dude, I've had people cut my water lines to my properties.
Wow.
I've had competition. Like when I was flipping houses, like sometimes you win deals from and other people don't. And some people lose their SHIT. Like I've seen some weird stuff before. Like I've had one like super crazy dude literally show up to my open houses and start screaming and threatening me. You can run into some psychopaths in the real estate world.
Wow.
Yeah. And you got to be ready.
That's why.
And I had like a super, super high net worth commercial real estate agent, like one of the biggest in California right next to me. And even he was like, holy shit, dude. Like, you gotta watch out for that fucking guy. That guy's insane.
So-
I was like, yeah, business, but real estate, when there's that much money on the line, you're talking about deals that have $500,000 in spread.
Very true.
So $500,000 will turn a lot of people crazy, but
Absolutely.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what we see sometimes.
Yeah, that's an F8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With pure turbos.
But those are some of the things that nobody talks about. Like everyone sees
No.
the pretty picture and they're like, oh, this guy flips homes. Like this guy's fucking, all he do is out here picking out fucking finishes and stuff like that. I was like, no.
Dude,
You go through the shit.
Go through so much. I almost left the flipping business at this point. Like that was so weird to me and so stressful that whole point in time. I had 4 flips going on at once. I had
That's
this
a lot.
fucking weirdo trying to fuck with me, and I ran out of money too. So I had to sell my Lamborghini. That's like when I sold the first Lamborghini, it wasn't by choice. I had 4 flips going on at once. And granted, I shucked and jived and pulled the line of credit, sold the Lamborghini, and I made a ton of profit on these 4 houses, but it was sketchy, dude. Like
Back against the wall type shit.
Yeah.
back against the wall. But that's like one thing I've also learned from all the people that I've had on my podcast, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen it too. The best entrepreneurs work the best when their back is against the wall.
That pressure.
Like when you fucking put me, like if you put me between a rock and a hard place, I will never lose.
Never.
It's never happened. It won't happen. I don't allow, because I just don't fucking give up. And that's what really good entrepreneurs that I've noticed on the podcast do. They just don't quit. Like you could put a gun to their head and they'll fucking move and figure it out. Like somehow you're getting shot. Like
somehow they're gonna end up with a gun. Yeah. You're like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
I'd say I've noticed the same thing, you know, because we end up talking to a lot of entrepreneurs just because supercar owners have money, which is shocking. But yeah, it's a similar theme. It's like the balls to go for it. Don't give up, you know, rock in a hard place, all those things. It's like you hear the same thing over and over again. So if you're out there listening, you've heard the same thing over and over again. So you should you've got the blueprint. It can be any industry, whether it be real estate, a shop, a this, a that, Amazon. Like at the end of the day, it's like the guys go for it and then just keep showing up every single day.
and whether or not you feel like it either.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be days where you just absolutely don't feel like it, or
The
you
last
just
thing
feel
you
like
wanna do.
doing something else.
Oh, 100%.
You're like, dude, I want to keep doing what I'm doing.
Fucking burnt the fuck
It's
out.
Sunday.
Why am I doing this?
Burnt
I want to
the
go to the
fuck out.
beach, but the episode, we're releasing it tomorrow. I have to edit it. I don't have any choice. I have 1 day now. I got to upload it overnight
It's
and hope it
absolute-
uploads correctly.
Absolutely insane.
Tyler's shaking his head behind the camera because he knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like I gotta make a reel tonight. Yeah.
That's the thing that honestly kills me too. And like I got to a point where like I really stopped feeling bad for everybody. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like with the internet, the availability to high net worth individuals and everything, there's a clear cut blueprint of what you have to do and the type of person that you need to be to get to that point. And people still choose to complain, victimize themselves, the whole nine. It's like whenever I meet people that like when you're talking to someone, they're like, oh, well, like nice car. Like, how'd you pull that off? How'd you get that? Like, oh, I can never do this. I can never do that. Like, I stopped feeling bad for people because I'm like, dude, everything is out there. Like literally all the opportunity is there. It's just picking one and being able to capture it and don't fucking stop until you get there.
I so desperately wish that I could like impart that into people, but it's almost like a personality trait.
It is.
I've found that like if you're just kind of down about yourself and you don't have that optimistic outlook, you're never going to get there. And no one else can, I can't impart that onto you. I've tried with a lot of people, like I'll help people out for free and I'll try to give people the blueprint and try to tell them, dude, just don't give up. Like just literally you can't lose unless you stop. That is losing,
It's stopping.
is stopping. So like, just don't stop, but people don't have the stomach.
The saddest part is they could, right? Like
Everyone can.
Even if their personality, right? It's like, I agree with you. There's totally like a personality thing. Some people just have it naturally, but you also like, it's at the end of the day, it's your choice. You can still change that. Like you can still choose to be more positive. Like for a lot of being positive,
Cost you nothing.
yeah, it costs you nothing and it takes practice like anything else. Like you have to start by consciously deciding how can I look at this positively? How can I be positive about this? Then over time, that becomes your brain's default setting. That's my take on it. Sometimes I start getting like down, I'll get annoyed, whatever. I catch these slumps working 2 full-time jobs pretty much. And then like after like a week, I just kind of like snap out of it. I'm like, this is not my life is worse this way.
Yeah.
Like I have the
It's so
choice
much worse.
for my life to be better. And it's like literally just how I choose to think about my days and how I feel and all those things, just making conscious decisions to be a better person.
Yeah. And if you're having money problems, for example, don't get upset about it. Just do something.
Do something.
You don't have to know what the right path is, but if you just start doing a bunch of stuff, something's going to hit.
Something's going to fucking click.
Like even in my business right now, like the real estate business has slowed down substantially, but I am just doubling down on everything and trying a bunch of new tactics in the business. I have like 5 new advertising campaigns running for flips, sales, buyer leads, seller. Like I am running everything. One of them's going to hit.
Absolutely.
Like one of them's going to hit. And like a lot of, I can just speak towards real estate agents. They get in their head right now, oh, the market's slow. Because it's basically 50% as much food to go around. And the people that are in the top 5% are going to eat the food because especially in this market, they're going to gravitate towards the hitter. These markets are great for people that have been in the business for 10 years that or maybe not, but that are in the top of their market, because all of that market just starts, even though you're not doing quite what you were before, you're taking so much market share.
Yeah.
So that's like, fuck it.
Did you lose yourself?
No, I feel you though. Sometimes you understand where you're going and you start walking there and you're kind of like, wait, where the fuck
This is the thinking ahead
to real estate agents.
problem.
To real estate agents. Yeah, you just try a ton of different things, and as long as you start trying something, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit there and you go, yeah, the market's slow, then guess what? It's slow for you.
It's fucking gonna be slow.
Yeah,
It's slow for you.
It's slow for you.
There's deals being done. There's a fuck ton of
People
deals.
are buying houses.
you're just
People are
not
selling
doing them.
houses.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed, and again, you attest to it too. Like I feel like everything, like let's just talk about single family. Everything in M up has slowed down a little bit.
Everything is slowed down a little bit.
You think stuff under an M too?
Under $1 million is comparatively, yeah.
It just
Like
means you got to
before,
get
you
a
would
larger chunk.
you would
of
have
pie.
like 20 offers.
That's true.
You put up a house for $700K, it's just gone. Like
Probably
it's
over
just
asking too.
and it's over asking. It has 20 offers. Like you have to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even a house for like $700K, if you're trying to get a somewhat of a premium for it, you've got to market it. You have to work.
You do.
And like everything is different right now.
Very much so.
And if it's like, if you're out there and you have nothing, you're doing nothing, just, you could go literally start selling life insurance for basically like no overhead and you can hustle and make over 10 grand a month immediately off the bat.
Yeah.
So you don't need to interview with anyone. You don't need any qualifications. Just go sell something. Like those opportunities are out there too. If you have nothing, you've got no job, you got no money. Go,
I like when
go
I
hustle.
when I started in real estate, I had nothing. Like zero. I was living at my parents' house. Like I was plasti dipping cars out of my parents' garage.
Hey, let's go.
That was my business.
That's a classic.
That's how I made my money. I went to community college. I would go to every single car in the parking lot, leave a business card, advertise on Craigslist. Like that was my business that I
love
had
it.
during college.
What'd you charge for a car back then?
Like $750.
$750.
And you're
Plastic
plastic
car.
with everything, complete blackout, moldings, trims, everything.
Everything, bro.
I
For
plastic
$750.
I
Okay,
plastic dipped
okay,
my
still.
A5 matte blue back in the day.
I remember that.
You don't remember that?
No, the matte blue one?
What a horrible product, though, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
such a bad product.
It wears out so it
wears out in, like,
scratches
it's
so
like 6
quick.
months,
It wears out
maybe.
so fast.
Yeah.
Not great for a car. But it
Not-
was really
not a
hot
great
for a
product.
minute. That was probably
I made
When
decent
you
money.
said 10 years ago. So like 2014.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
that's when I plastic dipped
2013
I think
was-
I plastic dipped my car in 2015.
Yeah.
Matte blue on the A5. I totaled that car before I moved down here.
The other A5.
The first A5.
The first A5.
Yeah.
That's
Gotcha.
I didn't total it.
It got-
Someone totaled
And you
it.
dipped it yourself? You bought the gun?
I didn't dip it myself. So I had someone dip it.
What'd you pay for it? What'd you pay to dip it? Remember?
Well, it was a hookup. So I think I paid like 600.
Yeah.
600 and a hookup too?
600 on
Well, you had
hookup.
good pricing then.
Yeah, that was
Fair
pretty
market
aggressive
value.
price.
Dude, I Craigslist prices, bro. I was
Yeah.
I was down, dude.
You were trapped
I
at
was
that point practically.
He was
Yeah,
using
yeah.
Walmart bags to mask off headlights.
dude, I would have like I would use towels, like bath towels to put over the tires. Like I was getting down and I was advertising on Craigslist. Like
I did plastic dip my own trim on my second A5.
There you go.
I blacked out everything because that's easy. It's like, since it just peels off or whatever.
Yeah.
So I plastic dipped all my trim on my blackout and blacked out the A5 second one.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What made you choose real estate to dive into like that?
So my parents would flip like 1 or 2 houses a year.
Okay.
And I got to meet their real estate agent. After plastic dipping cars, I moved into car sales. So I was already selling things.
What were you selling?
I was at a used car dealership off Thousand Oaks Boulevard, and we sold just like basic used cars. We get some CTSVs here and there, like,
Mostly
and then Hondas, whatever. But I realized very quickly that I was very good at sales. Like as soon as I got my sales license, like I sold the 2 most expensive cars in the lot. Like boom, boom. I realized, okay, I can do this. I'm very good at it. And then I met my parents' real estate agent that was selling their flips, and I was like, this fucking stupid asshole can do this. Like, and he's driving like an S550 satin white with black rims. This guy? Oh no. I'm getting my real estate license. And then
That kind of pissed you off, huh?
Yeah. No, I was pissed. I was like, this guy is able to make this much money. And then the neighborhood that we're in right now, this is like one of my main markets. When I first met this guy, this was his main market. And I got my real estate license.
Talk about stealing market share right there, baby.
And I was like, dude, I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, I can definitely do what he's doing. So I did. And it worked. And now we're here 10 years later.
I feel like that concept
what a
goes to what
story.
we're talking about too. Literally, like seeing, because I feel like at the same time too, like real estate probably the number one thing, but like people talk about like saturation and like everything being saturated. Like we're literally sitting here on a fucking pod. We have 2 podcasts between all of us, and podcast is like the most number one saturated internet communication, whatever you want to call it. But it's
low barrier to entry.
The lowest barrier to entry, exactly. But it's seeing what people do and going, okay, if they're successful, what are they doing wrong? How can I do it better? And then literally just going out and doing that shit better.
Have you learned a lot from your guests that you've had on your podcast?
Oh my goodness, a shit ton. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. I'm not only just for the fact that we love supercars, being able to talk about supercars, being able to just hear people the way they think, exchange ideas, exchange information, make connections, make some of the best friends I have now. Solely, I'm thankful for just that. But like even just understanding the way people think, that's it. Like again, talking about PJ and Exotic Car Hacks, sitting with him and just listening to the way he talks about car deals is one thing. Then go to John Bowles, and John Bowles probably meditates more than I've ever seen in my life. I swear to you, I've seen John fucking levitate off the ground before. That's how much that guy is so dialed in with manifesting and meditating. But like all those different perspectives, you're able to touch on each one, and you kind of pull a piece of each one, pull apart, and you're able to formulate your own thing. And you just have this great continued experience of each guest. Like, you know how much I was looking forward to sitting down with you to be able to talk about all this real estate experience?
Yeah.
That's just one little nugget, like that little dynamic. But
and we do that with like, I don't, how often do you guys podcast?
Once
a week.
Once a week.
So
we
we've been
release
going
once a week.
twice a week.
Holy
wow.
shit.
Yeah. Well, because like I have like, Tyler's full time is like running the podcast.
Tyler's the go, by the way.
Shout out Tyler.
Yeah, big shout out.
We're cutting back to once a week because honestly, I don't make any money podcasting.
That's a lot, dude. Twice a week is a fucking lot.
Is a lot. So we've been running it to kind of get it off the ground, book a lot of guests, etc. And it's been great, but it absorbs a lot of my time, and I don't make money podcasting. So I mean, eventually I will, and it just kind of helps grow the personal brand. But I cut it back to once a week because it's like. But I will say from the podcast, I have John building me a website right now and doing all my SEO.
Perfect.
I had our previous guest, King Flip. What was his name? Nick Liviano. He's
Shout out Nick.
He helped me get 2 VAs to cold call people.
Amazing.
To find more flips. I acquired a piece of an escrow business from another guest. Like a lot of business deals have actually happened, which I didn't think at all. But that's what, and also the knowledge. Like I would say more like these deals are cool and like I'll make money on them, which is great. But the knowledge that we collect from these people
And the connections you make.
wild.
The connections you make too.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking ridiculous.
Because it's like we could be making review videos, right? And we go out, we find a car, we review it. you're not sitting down with the owner for an hour and a half and talking.
No.
So like, yeah, just like the connections that you make. And then it's like, you sit down, you talk for an hour and a half and you're like, you know what? I kind of like you. And they're like,
Yeah.
you guys are pretty cool too. And then,
exactly.
and then the next thing you know, they're like, you should have on my friend, this guy. And you're like, yes, please connect us with that guy.
And where else in the entire world are you going to be able to get somebody that's super, super high net worth that owns a supercar to sit down with you for an hour and a half?
Fucking nowhere.
It doesn't exist.
Nowhere.
Yeah,
It doesn't exist.
here, Miami.
Like,
You're talking about physical location.
no,
No,
no.
like
Oh,
industries.
Industry,
yeah, yeah,
like
things.
because of the
For sure.
podcast, I wouldn't have these experiences. We wouldn't have these experiences with people if it wasn't for having the podcast.
Very much so.
And I have absolutely changed my brain from the people that I've met.
Yeah.
Like I am wired different now.
Completely.
I look
Nice.
at deal structure different.
Complete life is a completely different game now.
Yeah.
Completely
when
different
did
game.
you start and why did you start the
I
podcast?
started in January,
Okay.
This past January?
this January.
Oh, bro, you're killing it.
Thanks, bro.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, we started in January. I was in the backyard with my father-in-law in Texas, smoking a cigar and drinking whiskey,
We're in Texas.
Big bucks.
outside of Dallas.
Hey, that's where I'm from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Azle, which is like kind
Oh,
of
that's
in
out
the
there.
middle of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not that far out there.
Yeah.
I'm suburbs.
It's not that boonies for
No,
Texas.
no.
That's Texas. So
like,
those
no.
boonies are boonies.
Azle
Right.
is legit boonies. Like you could shoot a gun on your property and no one. I mean, that's a lot of Texas, but like no.
I'm like Woodland Hills of Dallas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We went back to his hometown to visit, and I went to his house, and he's like, "Check this out." He walks outside, pops a round off, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "It's Texas, bro." I was
It's
like,
Texas, dude. It's different rules.
I'm not fucking used to this at all.
We're on 7 acres here, baby. Boom, boom.
Neighbor looked and was like, so I walked back inside. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Dude, we're walking in the backyard with like an AR-15, subsonic rounds, and a silencer, which is so illegal in California, and you're just can't even hear it. Like no one cares.
Knocking down hogs.
It's epic. Yeah, hog hunting. I love hog hunting out there. I don't know how much of this I should say on the pod. You know what? I like hunting. If you don't like it, just unfollow. I don't care.
Yeah.
I think at
hunting.
this point in my life, like I just don't really care.
It's the most humane way to get
I like
to get
hunting.
meat.
It's fun.
You know what I'm saying?
What was I saying? I don't even.
About how
oh
you
yeah.
started- yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're sitting down, and I was like talking to him about different ideas, and because I was toying with YouTube channel, podcast, and he was like, "Dude, do it in your garage. You already have the marble floors, like you already have the setup, you already have the lights, you already have the car. Just put a fucking table, some microphones, and a Shane Holmes LED sign, and like you're good to go." And I was like, "Damn, that's actually a phenomenal idea."
It's a phenomenal fucking setup.
Like,
too.
so we just started, and then we have our VA that reaches out to guests to kind of start the conversations. It goes through a vetting process. Like they'll start the conversation with like a script that we send. They say yes or no. If it goes to a yes process, I then look at the guest and either approve or deny the guest. And we've
Really?
been doing that. Yeah.
Oh, so fuck me. We got to
Feel
prove
free.
it, man.
You
That's
better- you
what
should
I'm
know
talking
that,
about.
baby.
SCC made the approval process.
You didn't even ask for our tax returns.
I love. We didn't do shit, baby. No docs. Let's go.
I don't want to see your tax returns, bro.
I love it. No comment.
Yeah, and then we just book people, and it's been twice a week, so it's been like a lot of volume of DMs going in and out. And I talk to Tyler. I'm like, dude, we need to clear these DMs. Like, I can't. I always have notifications because the VA is always ripping them out. But
Ripping 'em.
yeah, we started. What about you guys? When did you start?
Shit, it's coming
September
up on a year.
4th was our first episode last year.
Okay,
Yeah, so we're coming up on a year.
dope.
Yeah, so we haven't been in again. That's what I'm telling you. January, you're killing it because we were in the game not crazy, and I was like, we're fucking killing it. So like, you're doing crazy work. This has become like an iconic setup, by the way.
Thanks, dude.
Like this is like when you see this on the internet, like you're like, this is Shane Holmes. Like
Really?
literally, absolutely, bro. You kidding me? This like this whole setup, everything you got going on, iconic.
Blue
Thanks,
Ferrari.
Of course.
Appreciate that. That means a lot coming from a podcaster.
Not to dick ride too much, but you know, just a fair amount. I gotta.
I'm gonna think about this later.
Yeah. Gotta give credit where credit's fucking due. I have to, bro. I have to. Because a part of it is too, is like, and what I think about something that's beautiful about just like this episode specifically is like, we both know and we're able to like, not really see the struggles is an aggressive word, but like just see the tribulations and what it takes to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So like I can attest to, I'm like, you're killing it for the fact because I know what it takes to be able to do this and to this degree and have all this shit. So like, kudos, bro.
Kudos to you too, dude. You've only been doing it for like 3 months longer than I have, or something like that, 4 months.
Yeah, literally.
And like when I saw you guys, I was like, I thought that you guys were doing it for a lot longer. Like I thought you guys were well established. I was like, oh, I'm stoked to have these guys on. Like, let's go.
I appreciate it.
This is probably one of the podcasts that I was most excited about having, because like I know I'm going to talk about supercars. Yeah, we're going to talk about real estate a little bit, but like my favorite thing in the world is supercars. If I could just do one thing all day, it would just be ripping supercars around. And that's kind of what I do a little bit, but
Yeah.
I promise you, there is no better activity in the world than ripping with your boys in supercars.
no.
There is
Anybody-
nothing on the planet. I don't give a fuck what anybody tries to tell me. No activity is better.
The noises,
No-
the
no
speed,
activity.
all of it. It's the best.
Yeah. Nothing better. There's literally nothing. You're with the boys. You're ripping. Adrenaline, turbos, V8, V12.
Telling you.
And it's also like the element of like, I'm killing it. You're looking at your boy and you're like, my boys are killing it. Like everyone's killing it.
Literally.
Which is just like such a great feeling in itself.
It's Uber to a whole nother degree. And I feel like it's even crazy. Like kind of like when I was talking about we were driving here today, like I took a second to just kind of pause and think about like when we started, like talk about like the first episode never aired to like now the fact that like he's driving his Aston, I'm driving my McLaren to go do a podcast with you. Like, I'm just like, how the fuck did we get here? Like, what the fuck happened to the fact that this is reality?
And was like, come with me.
Literally. Because his whole thing, the part going back to like kind of why we started stuff like that, he was the one that was like, that brought the idea to me. Because again, I was kind of in a position where you were at, where you're just doing so much shit that you're kind of like, I don't even know if I have time for something else. But we came together. We're like, if we do it this way, we can fucking build a successful brand of something together. And we literally have done that exact dynamic. But like, I'm so thankful for this and all the opportunities this has brought me, to the fact that I'm able to sit here and talk this shit with you guys is like, means the world.
Change your brain.
Change my brain completely.
Talking to John Bowles.
Oh yeah, John Bowles, dude. I have like 50 books I have to read. I'm behind on John Bowles.
Dude, I
get
texted him
homework.
too.
I get homework from John Bowles. You don't understand.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He's
So
like,
you give me- where's your
I was like,
report
"No,
on
Dad,
chapter
I haven't
3?"
read yet.
I just texted him like a few days ago. I'm like, what's our like some of your favorite books? I got a fucking essay back.
Bro, you don't understand. No, he literally, I sent it. Like, I literally said, do you have any book recommendations? And like the bubbles popped up for like 3 seconds. And then it was boom. I was like, is this a copy and paste? That
It has to, dude, it
He's
has
got
to
a
be.
note ready to go.
Yeah.
No, it's just ready to go.
It was, and I definitely am going to start reading some of those books, because like you can tell John is into that stuff and it works. Super
Extremely
successful dude.
Extremely intentional.
Yeah, I don't really read, if I'm being honest. Like,
I'm
kind of an ape.
Bro, I'm the same way though, because for me, school was the most difficult fucking thing for me. I couldn't pay attention. I was talking all the time. Like,
Did you finish Azusa?
I finished Azusa because of the football.
He got his master's.
I actually got my master's.
Oh, shit.
Which is crazy because I'm not like I'm
Put your
not
pinky up, dude. You're
No, I'm just
educated,
saying,
dog.
bro.
Because of
I'm
football.
NBA, baby, NBA. Well, you meet me, and the last thing you think, like, this guy has a fucking NBA.
If you didn't have that
Yeah.
5th year to burn, then you probably wouldn't have.
That's what I'm saying. So like football, because that's our major thing. Because again, the whole my only way to get to college was playing sports.
Yeah.
like I realized that early on in high school. So I was like, all right, this classroom shit ain't gonna do it for me. So I was like, let me really hone down on playing. So in high school, I made the mental decision. I was like, I need to focus on this, because this is what's gonna get me to college, where I can make the family proud and do what I'm supposed to do and all that shit like that. So now I have the point where we have the college backing, but realistically, I'm not a school person. I don't really believe in the school system, to be honest with you. You want to get Alex Jonesy and shit like that? right
I
now?
blatantly like do not believe
It's
in
horseshit, man.
college. Like,
it's literally
I mean, I went to community college. I had like a 3.8 and I played soccer, and I like bulked up to 200 pounds. I was a soccer goalie. I was like ready to
Stud.
transfer, but I was like, okay, you're not getting a full ride for being a soccer goalie for the most part, unless you're like absolutely out of this world, phenomenal talent. Like, there's no money in soccer.
right.
And I was looking at it like, my parents weren't rich. They weren't going to pay for my college. They like literally told me, we're not paying for your college.
Right.
And I was like, I am not taking on this debt, because I already plastic dipped cars. I knew how hard it was to make money. And I was like, $100,000 in debt. Like, that's like 200 plastic dips, bro. Like,
Literally.
I'm not doing that.
You think about the time correlation, you're like, fuck me. There's no way I'm doing that shit.
Tell me this, and I'm sorry if I cut off a thought, but when you got your Aston Vantage,
Yeah.
how did that feel like going and seeing your parents and your parents seeing you in that car? Was there like a special feeling?
I was already like
kind of killing it.
very successful before I bought my, like I bought my first house at like 23, 24. So like I was abnormally successful for my age when I was young because I dropped out of college and I started hustling at 20.
Yeah.
So like I had that leg up, and it really took me like 3 years into real estate to be like, and then once I hit my 4th year when I was 24, I was making absurd money for a 24-year-old. Like for someone that wasn't like a social media personality or like
internet
a
money type
TV,
shit.
like entertainment, like I was making way too much money for a 24-year-old. So driving the Aston Martin was like definitely sick, and it was definitely showed that, but like I already had like a duplex and like a successful business, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, definitely when I did get my first supercar, that was definitely like a sick experience.
Yeah.
Like I was so stoked.
What
And
color was it? What's the run us down the spec?
Gray.
It's gray.
It was exactly your car, but a 2018.
Yeah.
I loved that car. I've actually almost like, because I'm neurotic. I think about changing cars all the time. Like my brain does not stop. Like
Welcome to the gang, baby.
my friend, yeah, my friend
Welcome
Tony,
to the
like,
gang.
and Parker from Vehicle Virgins, like, sorry guys, they get my texts all the time of, oh, 765, no, SVJ, no, I'm selling all of it, and I'm paying cash for an Aston Martin, and I'm just gonna chill. Like, I'm all over the place, dude.
No, but I feel like that's kind of how you have to be, especially when it comes to cars. I feel like everyone has a different opinion on the way you go about buying and selling everything. But for me, you have to have a little bit of like the emotional detachment from these things, because it's very easy to get attached to these fucking things.
Yeah.
So if you do that, then you end up not being able to let go of it at the right time, or you keep it too long. So like the way you are is, I think, the correct way to be with these things.
I'm like now at this point in my life caring less about getting a deal. Like I just kind of focus more on my business, and I just kind of know I'm going to buy something if I want to buy it. And I don't hunt quite as hard because it's very time consuming. And like I have other businesses that make me, so like this thing, I bought it. When I bought it, this was the first car I bought that I knew for a fact I was going to lose money. Like I bought this car and I knew I bought it just because I wanted it, and that I was going to lose money factually. Like it was
There's nothing fucking wrong with that.
there's no, but yeah, and that's like the beauty of like just having more time in business, and like you can enjoy the things you want to and not trip on it.
Exactly. You get to a point, because again, when you're starting out, like even talking about buying, like you said, people buy the car like, oh, what'd you buy it for? Like, that's a terrible decision. I'd be like, well, I got to a point in my life where I do whatever the fuck I want to do. So I want to go lose 20 racks. I'm gonna go lose 20 racks.
Yeah.
Also, all the
I don't-
connections you've made.
That's what I'm saying. I don't give a shit what happens. Like people were talking shit about when I was buying the 720. Like, wow, you're really gonna buy that car? McLaren's depreciate. I was like, this is what I fucking want. So I want the doors to go like this, so I can pop out and do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Your doors do this?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And it's like you get to a point,
More
like you
doors
said,
should do that.
it's almost kind of like in business too. Like I know for a fact you're at the point where people will come to you, be like, Shane, please sell my house. And if you look at that client, you can be like, I'm sorry, I won't take your deal. Not saying that you would do that, but you're at the point where you can be selective with your business. That's the end curve of entrepreneurship and business.
You actually get to the point where you can't afford not to do that. It's actually it's not like you're doing it from an ego standpoint, or like I don't want to do this. There's certain deals that come across your plate. You see the profile of the person and you can tell how they're going to act because you've seen it 15 times already. So you stick them into a bucket. You're like, okay, this is how high maintenance they are, and this is their price point. Like, I probably can't facilitate that. But if they're a super easygoing person, it's not all about the price point. It's really about the person.
The client
Because
itself.
I've even fired $2.5 million sellers before that just do like things that I don't see as like being copacetic to how I run my business.
Right.
And I mean, a $2 million deal, that's like a $60,000, $75,000 check.
Literally.
But sometimes it makes more sense to walk away from that. And it sounds weird to say that, but there are situations where you're like, this person's crazy. I don't want my energy being attached to this process.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I am going to walk.
Because nobody sees and understands the big picture. They see what the surface level is, and they look like this guy walked away from a $2.5 million deal. But they don't understand like there could be negative benefits to, or negative connotation to it too. You get a crazy seller that wants to sell it at a certain price point, and they're like, this person's delusional. And if you can't fulfill that, then next thing you know, they start going bad mouthing your brand, and then everything that you've taken to build this fucking brand, all because one person is delusional with the value of their home. People don't understand the entire scope of it, because what you put in front of them, they take that and they're like, That's good enough.
Yeah. I actually lose a lot of deals because I'll just tell people like your house isn't worth that much. Like I'm sorry, because most agents will just take the deal because they want to have their sign in the ground and blah, blah, blah. But like, I used to be more willing to play the game and try it. But like after you do it 10 times, you're like, all right, I've been through this so many times. I'm not making money from this deal. It's going to end up expiring and then transferring to someone else. Like, I'm at the point where I'd rather be the second agent they call.
Exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's where it gets.
You get to that fucking point. You're like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. Versus everybody else.
How did you get into auto body?
So this is a good one. Everyone always asks me this shit because the last thing I imagine, I kind of joke about it. Like when I tell people like I have a collision center, I wasn't 12 years old and I was like, I'm going to own a fucking auto body shop one day. Like that was not what I wanted to do when I was older. It's a family business. So my grandfather in 1989 opened up the collision center we're at now. Same building, same everything. So we've been in this game for 40 years. I took it over about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So everything I know, everything I am is because of my old man. I'm not some type of sit here and talk about me being some self-made type thing. Like I was built because my old man built it into me.
Yeah.
Thing. So I can sit here and be able to tell that and talk from that perspective because of him. Like that, without him.
That's dope though.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
100%. I agree with you. I feel like
and not everyone can do what you do.
Thank you.
So even, he could hand me the keys to that shop. I couldn't do what you do.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you've seen the day to day. So
100%. So yeah, don't downplay yourself on that for sure.
But that's how I got.
You go through some.
Business. It was definitely not something where I was like drawing up when I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I was like in 10 years. Like, no. It's kind of a business you kind of stumble into.
Yeah.
It's very, because what I do and like more to talk a little bit more about it, I don't just go and like, for example, if something happens, you're like, oh, how much to fix this car? Like I do claims. That's it. I'm a insurance claim only spot. Right now I'm at about 120 cars, which is pretty big. We're a 22,000 square foot facility in Hollywood. Just fucking try to find a building that's 20,000 square foot in Hollywood. It doesn't exist type thing. So like we're a big facility and all we do is claims. So like dealing with the claims procedure, every claim has a client, every claim has a story, every claim has the car correlated. You have to deal with the insurance companies, two sides of the party, understanding liability. Like there's so many intrinsic little details, kind of like going in with real estate. There's so many levels to it. It's kind of similar because the time frames are similar. Like performance shops, wrap shops, you get a wrap done, how long? 3 days?
Yeah.
4 days, 5 days. Performance, okay, because depending on the source of parts, 2 weeks. The average claim takes 30 days. So you're dealing with a unit for 30 days. So now put 100 units in one batch for 30 days. Exactly.
Jeez.
It's just a number of just this. So like kind of when you had 4 flips going on, it's the same type of shit. It's always constant. Just go.
Shuffling different deals.
Just shuffling different deals.
Yeah.
So that's the
same. Yeah, we're in the same.
It's literally the same day. So when
you
you're
pick your industry, it's the same shit you got to deal with.
The same fucking shit. Like, and then one of the beautiful things is
someone calls and they're like, "Where's my car?" And then you're like, "Oh, I'm waiting on this part from Dodge." And
I'm like,
trying to call Dodge, like, "Where's this part?" And they're not answering.
It's fucked. Or you get like, for example, like we built a book of business that's just incredible. Again, a testament to my old man. He's been in the game for so long. It's ridiculous. But like I'll get calls, like people don't understand, like you get calls, like people get in accidents at any point in the day. So like I get calls at 2 a.m. They're like, I just got into an accident. So I'm waking up to the phone ringing and I'm like, fuck. I'm like I got to call my tow truck driver and then wake him up. And if he doesn't get up, what am I going to do? Yeah, literally, bro. It's the most ridiculous shit.
It's his ringer.
I have the Empire Strikes Back
and
from Star Wars as my ringtone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Dun, dun. So every time I hear that, I'm like, all right, here comes a client call.
Do you get a lot of, does Towmasters do a lot of your
Towmasters is funny because like I feel like Towmasters is probably the biggest like towing brand.
Yeah.
And I only know them because of the Instagram and all this stuff like that. But like they usually do more, from what I understand, like towing exotics and automotive stuff like that. So it just really depends. I have 3 guys that have worked with us for forever. So I have a crew. Like we've been in the game so long that everything that you need, kind of like when you're building out like how you're gonna remodel a house, you have something for everybody already. I'm fully crewed out in this niche, but Towmasters is like the GOAT when it comes to towing exotics and having the equipment to do that shit. Because people think like you just put this shit on a tow truck. It's not that easy.
No.
It's not even easy to get this thing out of your fucking driveway.
Dude,
how about the story with that car?
Huh?
The story we just had with that car.
That's Romeo did that. The boys.
No, I know. I just mean like they were supposed to ship the car to the deal.
Yeah.
We actually bought this car at auction. Just quick story. So our friend Lauren works for a dealer, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a V8 Vantage. 6'5", blue eyes, in finance. And
They
so
don't exist.
and I was like, I don't have access to Manheim. I know every single V8 Vantage on the market today, other than the auction sites, because I can't see that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so this is what I want. So and then she sends me this, and I was like, perfect, that's it. It's got all the options I want. It's exactly what I want. So it's a Manheim auction. So she buys it off the auction online in Oceanside, and they were supposed to ship it from Oceanside to Huntington to the dealership she works for, and then they called her and were like, we can't get it on the truck, so you have to pick it up.
Like literally, she like, so like when this happened, the whole plan was that they were going to deliver it to her. She was going to do all the little post inspections, get it clean for him, and then I was going to use my guys to transport it from her then to fucking him, right? Especially after it goes through like the Montana vetting process and all that shit. So she calls me in a little bit of a panic, and she's kind of like, I don't know what to do. Like, this is happening. I was like, what's happening? I was like, they literally told her that the company that works for the auction house gets there. And I guess for whatever reason, maybe the description of the car or whatever, the tow guy's like, I can't get on the truck. They just left his shit. Like literally left this shit. And I haven't even told them this. So you got the car now, so you have nothing to worry about. But they left your key like on a tire with the car outside the auction house. And we're like, you need to get this car. Think about that shit. Think about the care. So like you deal with people, and like, I think this is another topic about business and stuff like that. And probably to be attested why you're so successful. Like, dealing with clients and customer service is the most lost thing in the entire world right now.
Gone.
Nobody wants to take care of people, understand that, like, and even like we're sitting here, like at the end of the day, most businesses besides like certain ones, there's very, very few. At the end of the day, it's the people business. You're in the people business. Without clients, you don't have shit. Without clients,
Nothing.
I don't have shit. And even car sales. Nobody has shit without taking care of the client. So the fact that places can operate like that, it fucking blows my mind. Because I'm like,
Manheim's
how do you have
so
business?
big.
They're so big, they don't give a shit. It's all that happens.
It doesn't matter. They say, hey, pick up the car, keys on the tire.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Then you get somebody that, runs their IG with a VA, and I'm sitting here trying to talk to them, and I can't figure out how to flirt with them through the VA. I'm trying to talk to them thinking, I'm like, Shane's not picking up on my little cues and shit like that. I'm just fucking with you.
I find like this year I hired my new operations manager, because I kind of got to the point where like I've always had a huge focus on customer service. Like that's why people work with me, because I get the job done, A, and B, it's a good process. But like beginning of this year, I had so many deals going, and I'm trying to provide that same level of service to fucking 6 deals at once.
Possible.
And I finally was like, all right, I gotta, and I had somebody that was helping me, but it was like kind of a part-time, like he was one of my agents, and it was just like kind of a per deal thing. I was like, no, I gotta, if I want to maintain the integrity of my brand, I really need to hire somebody. So I finally hired Jen, my operations manager, and night and day difference. Like I can run my business now and do this and do 6 deals, and like everything's happening in the background, and like Tyler's at the office, like everything's happening. Whereas before it was pretty much just me in there running my own social media, doing all of the sales, all of the marketing, designing the mail. Like I was doing everything, and now everything is so much more efficient,
smooth,
and I can focus on the clients, and I have backup that like can help focus on the clients. But so you just got your Aston Martin. I just randomly thought of this. My first Aston Martin that I got, I negotiated the most insane deal. I paid $1,750 a month for my Aston Martin. $1,750 a month for a 2-year lease with 15,000 miles.
Wow.
Like it was the most insane. It was like a demo deal, and I knew how to work like the lease system, and they paid for the first 3 lease payments. Like it was
finesse the shit out of them.
A real stupid deal. But that was my first supercar. It was $1,750 a month.
It's not bad at all. It's actually not bad at all.
For real.
And I bought,
especially with a 15,000 limit.
Yeah. And then I had I was living in my duplex, and I had like rental income coming in from the other unit, and like that basically paid for the car and then some more. So that's kind of how I always did it. Is that I would have like, if I ever wanted, to this day, if I ever want to get like a better car or whatever, I'm not doing it unless I like pump up my rental income, buy a new property, build an ADU, force the value up. Because like these payments are expensive
as fuck.
And I would never make these payments without passive income to like help do it because that's just how I tick. That's how I operate.
So So the rental properties must be doing pretty good if you're looking at SVJ or 765.
Rental, yeah. I mean, I started buying when I was almost 24 or 24 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I bought when rates were at 3%. I bought 90% of my properties when rates were 3%.
You're a king.
Yeah, killed it.
I just got lucky.
Locked
you know?
it in.
King. You're sitting on the fucking prettiest throne in the world. Right now. You're sitting on the prettiest fucking throne.
I was buying duplexes and triplexes at 3%. Like, and I didn't do it because I was like necessarily that smart. I didn't think that rates were going to go up, and I was forcing all these properties in while rates were low.
You just fucking did it.
I just did it, and and I'm still doing it today.
Graham Steppen was like buy duplexes.
All you do is like,
Fuck
you just
Graham
have to do it. You just have to do it. Cause like even right now, I still think now is the best time to buy. Cause I don't think that prices are going to massively crash.
They're not.
Like the only thing that could really happen is that I'm going to buy this house at a 7%. And in 2 years or whatever, maybe I refi at 5%. Like there's only upside in my brain. Look, barring any massive market crash, like shit could always hit the fan. You never really know.
None of us know.
But like,
I don't care who you are.
I don't personally see a whole lot of downside to buying right now.
Neither do I.
And people, oh, interest rates are high and I'm going to time it out. I'm going to wait for them to drop. Like, listen, asshole, if you wait for rates to drop and that's your mentality because you're so much smarter than the market, what do you think's going to happen when the rates drop?
Everyone's going to buy
offers again.
Yeah, and everything.
Like your rate is going to be, it's
gonna
the
drive
opposite.
prices back up.
Yeah, everyone
who
has the
bought
same
with shitty
strategy.
rates is going to be sitting on some nice built-in equity. And if you're forcing value right now, and you're going to be able to refinance and take advantage of all that shit.
I just hate it when people think they're smarter than the market. One's smart. I've never once thought that I was necessarily smarter than the market. I've always just bought.
You have to just do. You have to fucking do.
You just buy. It's like, what are you trying? The only thing we have is time, especially if you're young. Especially if you're young and you're watching this. The only reason why I have a reasonable net worth is because I just bought stuff. I didn't try to overcomplicate it and think, oh yeah, this, that, the other rates if I buy during this time of the year. No, I just saw a good enough deal. And some of the deals I bought weren't even good deals at the time. They just were there when I was ready.
Right. The opportunity was there and you were like, fuck it, I'm going to take this because I don't know when something like this is going to come up again.
Exactly. I was like, okay, it's here. Like, I'm just going to do it.
Can I make it happen? Does it make a little bit of sense? Can I mitigate/manage the risk? Those checks off those, let's do it. Let's figure it out.
Sometimes the risk didn't even make sense. Dude, when I bought my first house, I was selling houses to pay for my remodel. I had closed on the property. I had no fucking money in my bank account. Zero. No money. Like, I don't know how to exaggerate this. I had like 10 grand in my account and I had an $80,000 remodel to get through. I was selling properties.
So when you live in the house, or you're talking about this is like a flip, your first flip?
This was my first house that I bought. That I bought. It was a duplex. I lived in the 3-bed, 2-bath, and then I rented out the guest house separately. So I was literally selling houses to fund the remodel while I was remodeling. It was the most hectic thing ever. But that's like, I think my payment on that house is like $3,400 a month, and it brings in like 73.
Right now it's $3,400 a month?
Yeah.
Is that one of those 3% golden deals type things?
It was 4%. Yeah. It's all, I mean, that's what all of them are.
That's
like
fucking incredible.
Yeah. It's just
because I'm doing duplexes right now too. Guess what my rate's at right now?
7 more DSCR loan.
Not DSCR loan, but like 12-month bank statement, stuff like that.
Oh,
not full doc.
Probably 7 3/4.
Yeah. Like 8 right there at 8.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I mean, I'm still flowing and I'm also getting them at great prices and stuff like that.
The rate on my car is lower than that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Think about it. So it's fucking insanity. But again, getting it now and buying it at the right price when everything goes the way that I think it's going to go, I will be sitting very happy.
And also, like, okay, you're at 8% right now. You can file a higher tax return next year and refi down to 7, 6, something like that. Like when I buy properties, sometimes I buy with hard money. I pay 10%, 11%. I don't care because it's momentary.
Exactly.
Like, don't get so like fixated on, oh, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. It's stupid not to do it because the upside in the future is that, okay, the property breaks even right now. Let's say my rent on that Newbury Park house, for example, like has almost doubled since I bought it. Like it time does the work for you. Your loan gets paid down. You're getting equity there. Your rents continue to go up. The property goes up in value. Like that's where my net worth came from, was just being an ape.
That's it.
And just buying stuff. Real estate.
Good deal.
Good deal.
It's fucking that simple though. Like you said, like you attest to it.
Shane buy good deal.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Shane collect $200 Pasco.
You pay rent.
You attest to it earlier. It's like, and I feel like this is one of the biggest things. Like there's people out there that genuinely think that they're these geniuses and they're smart and that they understand everything, but they don't make any concrete movement towards it.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody that may not understand the concept better than them, but they take actual little steps and then they find themselves fucking light years ahead of anybody that might even understand it better.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
We had my boy Greg on, and he blew up, like absolutely blew up on TikTok and Instagram because he was posting 10 times a day.
That's the fucking formula.
Like literally, you just have to be an ape. Gabe, not Greg. Gabe. Gabe, sorry, Gabe. Okay, so we had my boy Gabe what? Gabe Guinness.
Gabe Guinness.
Yeah. So we had my boy Gabe Guinness on, and he literally just posts 10 times a day. Like that's it. He just
Wait, the name sounds hella familiar. He's got like face tats.
But don't just that's it, because that is so much work.
It's a ton of work.
That's so much work.
And he's also very like when you start talking to these guys that have like ape energy, doing, they're usually very smart too. Like I learned things from him about, okay, you want to start with your hook, like start with the thing that doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. You want it not to make sense. So people are like, what did I just listen to? And then they listen to the rest of your video. But he posts 10 of these a day. And that's how he blew up. And he blew up in like a year. Mm-hmm. Like I had seen him on TikTok and I already knew who he was because of TikTok. When my VA messaged me like, oh, is this guy approved for the podcast? I was like, absolutely. I've seen this guy 1,000,000 times in my feed. Let's go.
Can I ask you a question specific to the VA?
Yeah.
The VA picks and chooses who it reach out to?
I give them thresholds. You have to have this many followers. You have to be in this field. So like I'll give a criteria.
Got it.
And then they'll do the reach out. And then once the people
Your wheels
respond,
are spinning, huh?
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, at what point did we reach said criteria to where it reached out to us? Is what I'm kind of thinking.
Maybe I think I might have independently said that. Yeah. I think I actually told them to reach out to you because I saw your content. Now
Pre-approved.
Yeah.
Pre-approved.
So I think what I said earlier was inaccurate. I think I actually, I just forget because we have so many that go out. Like,
Yeah.
Right, I can only fucking imagine.
Makes sense.
You got me spinning on this VA thing because I still think all that shit is so advanced and so awesome, like the way that the world is moving with that shit. That I'm like, how smart are these fucking things? That's kind of what more. So.
No. This is a human being that lives in a different country.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That you pay $5 an hour to.
Oh, fuck! I'm sitting here thinking it's fucking like AI that's doing this shit.
No. It's a person in a different country that you can hire for a much lower rate that you have to like kind of figure out how to trust them.
Right.
Ours kind of came through from like a trusted source. And so they have to have from Tyler from his previous job.
Shout out Tyler.
And you have to give them your Instagram login. So you got to be able to trust them with that.
Fuck.
And then once you get past that barrier, you can kind of give them like profiles of that you want them to message, and then they can do the reach out for you. Mm-hmm. Because if I had to run my own podcast, there's no fucking way I could do it. I am so busy every day. Like Tyler I am hardly in the office. Like I am constantly out meeting with people. A lot of what I do now is actually golfing with people. I just joined this country club, and like,
you're at that point
what a life.
Game.
Yeah.
I like
at that point in the game.
That's where the real networking happens.
Brother, you made it. Brother, you made it. You
drive a Ferrari, you golf for a
brother,
living.
you made it. You fucking made it. You got a turquoise Ferrari and you're in the networking game, bro. You fucking made it. I'm telling you.
That's too good. I appreciate you, bro.
Bro, 100%. That's fucking awesome though.
But that's where like you start making like the big moves. It's like where because you're just correlating with people that have so much money. Like everyone there is a millionaire 10 times over. Because like if you're going to be there golfing every day, You're either a retired CEO, you own your own business where you have staff, which gives you the time to be out there,
Right.
or you exited a company for like a huge amount of money. Or the third profile that I see out there is people that just own a ton of real estate, whether
Yeah.
it's commercial or residential, whatever. They just bought a fuck ton of real estate early in life and don't have to work anymore. Like my buddy Brian that I golf with, won't say his last name, but Brian that I golf with owns a ton of houses, doesn't have to work, just golfs all the time. I'm like, dude, I'm getting there. Like I'm like kind of pushing towards that, but I'm not there yet.
There's no
like
way
to
you
just
can do that.
not have to work.
There's no way you can do that.
Do what?
We just met, and that's part of the thing. Like, again, you were sitting down for the first time.
Yeah.
We were able to have this conversation, which is fucking great. Just by the way you talk, the way you move, there's no way in hell you're not gonna you're gonna get to that point.
Oh, that I'm not gonna get there?
No, that you'll get to that point, but you won't stop working.
No, 100%.
You won't, I can already tell. Just by the way you are, impossible. Like
No.
you need to be doing something. You're like, you and I are very similar in that way.
Yeah.
Supercars and golf isn't enough.
No, fuck no.
No, I have to have my hands in something.
It's the pursuit of what it is. That's what people don't realize. Like people get so fixated on like a dream or like a destination. When you get past the point, you realize that you're no longer chasing the dream. You fall in love with like your obsession with the pursuit of it. That's when it really comes to next level. Because
You could not have said that any better.
Thank
That's got to be clipped. That's fucking epic. I actually had like a huge revelation when I had one guy on my podcast. I realized that like I actually already could retire, and that like fucked with my brain a little bit.
it's wild.
I was like, oh, like if I just moved into my Newbury Park house, which is a really nice 3-bedroom house with like a huge backyard and mountain views, could be very reasonably live there. And I rented this house out and I sold my supercars. I could live a very comfortable life
Extremely.
and I could be done. And that really like changed the way I looked at everything. I was like, I'm not on the hamster wheel anymore.
Yeah,
I'm doing this because
everything's
I
optional.
want to.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. Turkish Ferrari and golf, like you made it. Like I don't know how else to say it simpler. Like, bro, like you're there. Like that's the whole thing. You fell in love, and that's what people don't realize. To get to that point, you have to become obsessed with what you do.
You have to.
You have to. There is no balance on that bullshit. Like you have to be obsessed with what you do if you want to make it to the point where you can have all this shit.
And I still go all in on stuff. Like I came to that realization, and like that almost made it worse. Like that almost made me like
addiction
want
of
to
sports.
do more stuff, because like that's what all the fun is.
Exactly.
The fun is like taking that massive risk and taking that next step and like buying that car or buying the house behind the gates. Like it's not owning it. I actually said this on my last podcast. I don't give a fuck about this car. I will sell it at some point, and I don't care about this box that I live in. None of it matters. It's all just stuff. And you get used to it. It's like, and even when you get the next supercar, you always get used to it. There's a level where like you can have the craziest stuff. Even guys that have SVJs are starting to look at the 918, and like it's like it never stops.
It never fucking
So
stops.
don't think that like your pursuit is when you get it. It's the journey, because once you get it, like it's sick. I don't want to downplay it. You just got your first car today. I was so stoked when I still love getting this car. I still love ripping supercars. So I'm not going to say it's not cool to have it, but it's the pursuit of getting there that is the fun part.
Yes.
And everyone's fixated on like, oh, I'll be happy once I'm there. Sorry, bro. You'll be happy for like 2 weeks.
That's it. That's fucking
And
it.
then you'll get used to it.
It's fucking it's like you said, like it's an addiction almost. Like it's almost like it's like the obsession
It's
of being able to
fully,
pursue.
I am fully addicted.
Full blown addicted.
Fully obsessed.
Full blown addicted.
Dude, I'm scrolling Auto Trader at 12 o'clock at night when I got to wake up at 5 in the morning, and I'm just like looking at SVJs.
No, you have no idea. If you looked at our text combo, it literally is just there's so many car gurus links in our text combo. Like it's a disgusting
lots of car
amount.
gurus
Yeah,
links.
that's it.
So you got the SVJ or the 765. Why those two?
It's just like the next logical step.
Yeah.
So the way I like,
So what are the pros and cons of them?
So the cons of the 765 is that because I speak out this pretty openly. Like I generally lease my cars because my rental income pays for it. That's how I do it. That's my method. And then I like to keep my cash so that I can go buy another house, and just keep fucking rolling. The 765 does not lease well. The payment on a 765 is like $1,500 to $2,000 away from an SVJ. So when you look at it in that terms, you're like, would you pay an extra $1,500 for an SVJ?
Fuck yeah.
And an extra like 100 G's down? Probably.
I would.
But then there's the aspect of the 765. It is $1,500 cheaper. It is $100,000 in your pocket, and it's ridiculously fast. Like, it's probably one of the best supercars under $1 million, other than the SVJ. It's just
supercar.
It's just different. So what do you guys think? What do you think? Like, what's your play?
I'll take a fucking firm stance on this right now, and like people might come at me for this, but like 765 or SVJ, 765 all fucking day.
Really?
I think he's lying.
All fucking day.
I don't believe
long.
him.
Yes. In my opinion, because this is where it comes to, okay?
He's lying to you.
By no means is it coming from a perspective of like the SVJ, I don't care who you are, everything between in our age group, that's the king. That is the car.
That's this.
That's literally what it is. Like it's the ultimate, like I don't give a fuck what you are. But when you talk about what the car gives you or what you want from the car for the value, if you're talking from that perspective, the 765 trumps that car from a value perspective on a whole different scale.
So let's take money out of it.
Yeah, just ask him which one he would rather have.
Let's take money out of it completely, because affordability wise, like at least at this point, like $1,500 isn't going to swing a decision for me. If you're removing value, which car is the crazier, more fun car to drive?
Well, it's a difficult one. Okay, more fun car to drive.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of the question. It depends what the fuck you
City
like when
driving.
you drive.
I city drive. I don't really canyon. Like I kind of rip through the back roads over here where it's like open, straight roads, some bends. I'm not like going through Decker every day.
Sounds like SVJ for you.
SVJ 100% for you.
Yeah, easy call.
100%. If you like more of actually driving and the driver experience, the feel of a car, feeling like you're fucking wearing the car.
My favorite thing is the reason why I wasn't a huge proponent of the supercharger. My favorite thing to do in a car is how good does it make you feel when you're taking it to redline?
Oh, dude, SVJ for you is gonna fucking like you're gonna have,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're gonna have
not even close.
You're gonna have an orgasm like you've never had in your entire life when you get that thing to redline. I promise you, on my entire life, the sound.
Damn it, dude, I'm gonna be back on auto trader.
I promise you, like the sound, like even just getting there, like as it just gets. Like you're gonna be sitting there like, oh my god! I tell you, it's gonna be ridiculous.
Have you been in an SVJ before?
Fuck yeah, 100%.
Did it have the Gintani?
One of my close friends, Qasim, has a yellow SVJ.
Yeah,
that thing is nasty. He doesn't have Gintani on exhaust. I think he has a Voodoo exhaust setup.
Yeah,
that thing is crazy. But Gintani exhaust on top of it, I haven't been in a Gintani. That shit is different. It's the most iconic exhaust system for the V12s.
Oh yeah,
ever.
100%.
Yeah.
So that mixture for what you tell me, the way you like to drive, like how do I describe it? That car might do something to you that nothing has ever done to you. You'll get that thing and you'll go, there's nothing next.
That might
Except
be weird.
for the
that might be weird.
The Huracan replacement that revs to 10,000. You like revving things out.
That thing has turbos on it.
I don't think that thing's gonna.
But 10,000 RPM.
I mean, this thing has 1,000 horsepower and twin turbo V8. It revs to, I don't even know, probably 8,500 or something.
Can I tell you one thing?
Yeah.
If I was in your shoes, I would get the SVJ, no brainer though.
Yeah.
Why?
The SVJ as a presence car for anything social media and branding, there is no car that does that.
There is nothing that
you pull up to a fucking
Yeah.
golf course in that SVJ. I don't care who you are. People are gonna be like,
who the fuck is this?
who is that?
Because a
And then you
765, the average person doesn't know the difference
Yeah,
between
they
a
don't.
765
No, like
and
honestly,
a 720.
an average person like 765 to this, same thing.
Exactly.
Same,
or
like
even
this is
like this to
it's side
even this to a Pista, like the average
step.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But an SVJ, it doesn't matter who you are, from a 5-year-old to a 7-year-old woman, they will see the SVJ and know that
It doesn't
that
even
thing
have to be a crazy
is on
color.
a different
No,
level.
Yeah.
it doesn't, bro. It's just the SVJ.
It just does this. It just fucking looks at you.
I'm telling you. And then you go on talk about just social media standpoint. Like again, I've talked about like my buddy Qasim earlier.
Yeah.
He was at maybe like 30 or 40K on Instagram before he bought his SVJ. Bought his SVJ,
immediately.
posted a couple things of content, him ripping, 100K.
Really?
Immediately.
Like immediately. That car, I'm telling you right now, Shane.
I'm placing an order.
I'm telling you right now, if you want a car for your overall brand and the way you describe the way you like to rip, I'm telling you, but the problem is going to be, and this is a good problem to have, you're going to have it when you get used to that car, you're fucked.
Maybe I need that though.
You might.
Like, I think my brain kind of needs like a little bit of
A mellow chill out thing.
some stability.
Where do you go from there?
Because it's yeah, exactly. It's it's kind of what I was trying to get my point across. Because again, I talk a lot and trying to get the actual point across.
Yeah.
That car is not the fastest car that you can buy for that money. It's not the best
and like
driving
for
car.
me, I'm like selling myself on this for no reason, but like I don't care that much about horsepower. I like the experience of getting in a car and having it fucking, you know.
Well, that's the top. That's the top of the experience food
It
chain.
is.
All right,
It is.
done deal.
And this is. I'll try to put in a one-liner. The SVJ is the number one car that does and has benefits outside of driving the fucking car.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's like, I mean, half of what I do. I spend a lot of time podcasting. Like,
Bro, you have an SVJ right here. Anybody who's scrolling through or that pops up on something, they're like, okay, wait, what's going on?
You got the doors up.
Yeah, literally
Behind you.
You have SVJ on the quarter, and then you have a little Shane Holmes logoing here too, bro. I'm
shit.
telling you, dude.
That's a great idea.
It's over.
And it's
Any
bright
open
purple.
house, anything, any marketing video, that I'm telling you, there's nothing better.
Purple SVJ it is, boys.
Gold wheels.
Let's rip it. Little
Let's
bronze.
run it up, baby.
Little bronze for the boys.
Let's fucking do it,
Love
baby.
it.
Let's go, dude.
I'm telling you.
See how easy that was?
Done. I'm sold. This was a fucking absolutely epic podcast.
Well, you didn't get off that easy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We have
gonna end this
questions.
thing.
We have 3 questions that everyone
All right, let's
gets.
rip it. Let's go.
So
I'm down.
we'll just jump into it
Yeah.
because we've been going a while. What's the most overrated car today?
Oh, shoot.
What do you think is the
I
most
should have
overrated car
known this
today?
was coming. I saw
Yeah,
John
yeah.
fumble this like a like you
yeah.
did footballs growing up.
Fuck you, John. I love it.
He never carried the football.
Most
not wrong.
overrated car.
You can't fumble if you don't carry. That was my job. I did, and I fumbled a few times for sure.
Since I owned one, people are gonna hate this. 992 GT3 probably.
I can kiss you on the mouth right now. You have no idea. That's the best answer possible. That's the best.
I mean, I just owned one. Like the whole point of a GT3 is to be an extremely raw driving experience, and it's too insulated and easy to drive for me. So it kind of removes the whole point of that vehicle. Great car. If you own one, don't shoot me, but I sold mine because of that.
I respect.
Yeah, great answer. It's a common answer.
Very common answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Well, I
so
mean,
I'm not
the
that
RS.
psycho.
Everyone says the RS, the 3RS.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really talk on that,
Just 'cause
but
it's
for
more-
sure. I mean, that thing
It's
looks
the same.
sick.
It's the same driving experience.
Yeah, it has to be. I
On
mean,
the especially on the street, they're gonna drive 99% the same.
Yeah.
Those 2 cars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Except you're gonna pay.
a huge
premium.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason why.
What's the most underrated car today?
Underrated.
Always harder.
This is really hard. 2018 V8 Vantage.
Respect.
Yeah, those
That
cars.
thing for 90 grand
It's steel.
is so much car.
It's so much value. It's
It
stupid.
looks like a $200,000 supercar.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything, you get it in orange or something like that.
I literally saw an orange one
It drives
3 days ago.
phenomenally. You can daily the car, and you can have it as a weekend car. You can fit your golf clubs in the back, bar none. 2018 V8 Vantage, most underrated car.
I like that answer.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. All right, so now you're building out 3-car garage. You got a 3-car garage here. Fill it with whatever you want, no budget,
Oh, no budget.
but
That's fucked up.
with your
Has to-
current lifestyle.
Current lifestyle.
Yeah.
Current lifestyle, but
Can't go
but no
3
budget.
supercars, or else wifey's gonna have a croak. You gotta fit the lifestyle.
Okay, well,
The Shane Holmes lifestyle.
she likes having the car that she has.
Her car doesn't count.
Her car doesn't count. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to have a Cullinan in there.
Respect.
It's kind of sick.
Boss whip. Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Great car.
I sell more homes than you.
That would be that
Matte
would
Black?
be- yeah, like
4Gs?
like a sat. Nah, no 4Gs. Nah,
We're-
get
we're
out
in
of here.
West-
How you gonna
We're in Westlake
how you gonna have a
Westlake
matte
Village,
Westlake
bro.
Village.
how you gonna have a matte black Cullinan and not throw 4Gs on it?
I'm in Westlake Village, bro. That's why. My client's gonna look at me.
Like, I'm selling my house.
Yeah. You're gonna see me step out like what?
This guy has to rap or something. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna start freestyling for him. No 4Gs on the whip. So I'm going, but I will go Cullinan. Or Ghost. I'll probably go Ghost.
Ghost.
I'm
a late switch up.
Yeah. Late switch up. I'm gonna go Ghost. So you got Ghost, F40 LM, just iconic manual transmission.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
F40 LM, and then see you're throwing me off with the money doesn't matter part.
Doesn't matter
because I'm like, dang, what else would I get? Maybe like that's like too basic white dude to say this. Like some form of Bugatti is like what jumps. Oh, you know what? I would get a
that wheel is spinning up here.
yeah. No, it's spinning hard.
Actually, just hit me.
I'm hitting friction up there.
Full carbon Yesco.
The Koenigsegg Agera S, RS, or whatever it is.
Hell yeah.
Those things are so
Like
perfect.
Art.
Yeah,
They're beautiful.
that's literally a piece of art. If you've got like a piece of art that's like more of a modern car to drive that really cranks.
You can't top that either.
And then you have like the raw, older, like still turbo. Yeah, and then a Ghost or Cullinan. That's probably what I'm ripping.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, great
It's a big
garage.
car garage.
Has anyone flipped the question on you before?
Yes.
A couple. I think once or twice they have.
Okay, so you've already answered that.
It's our shit. I think we've answered it twice, and both of our answers have changed completely.
It always
Both
changes.
times. It always
Yeah.
fucking changes. It's
Okay,
terrible.
so I'll fuck you up a little bit. You got
do.
900 grand to spend.
so
We got
much.
a budget.
Hell yeah. I like this.
You know where you're going with it? What do I
You can
have?
go over by a couple $100 grand,
A couple $100,000.
I got it dialed already.
just like my wife does with her.
Let's hear it.
Sorry,
Let's hear what you got.
Say a couple $100,000. Most definitely.
throwing shade. She gets so many shout outs of being the most amazing mom. She's got to get a little shade.
You got to get a little back and forth. That's just natural. All right, 900K, 3-car budget. I'm doing G63. I'm doing 765. These are all brand new pricing, like top market pricing. I'm assuming. I'm not going to sit here
just
and go,
what you
"No, I
can
get
get."
70 grand because I bought a fucking 19 with 20,000 miles.
whatever's out in the market.
They're out in
Yeah.
the market. G63. Let's call it 200 grand.
Yep.
Give me a 765 for 400. That's I'm sitting at what, 6? So I got another 3, and a Performante for 3.
Money. Great answer.
Dialed.
Yeah, that is a good answer.
That was very concise. I'm actually impressed by how well you cut up those numbers and put the cars into it.
Car Gurus Auto Trader, my friend.
Let's-
I can't attest to you how long I'm on that website. I know the fucking market like it's just like nothing.
Yeah.
Beat that.
SVJ Kia Telluride.
It's not a bad answer.
SVJs you get for like 600 grand now.
600.
Yeah. So use that number.
6, 7, 8, 9. That gives you 300 grand.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You can do a lot with that.
You can do a lot with that because the SUV portion of things I don't really care about.
Get a Cadillac for 90 G's.
I don't even think I
Or
need
whatever.
that. I think I can just go with we'll just I'll find some sort of Cayenne around the 100 mark.
Cool.
So now I got 200,
Yeah, you got two bands.
600 LT.
That is a phenomenal answer.
That's a great one.
That's a
Driver's
really.
car, yeah.
That's probably. I was just looking at them today.
Yeah.
I was literally thinking about
sick.
keeping this
You're
and
sick.
getting a 600 LT.
Sick.
You like that? SVJ 600 LT.
That's a hell of
and
a
then
I could open my laptop right now and show you a satin black 600 LT Spider that I was going to put downpipes on and tune. Like,
or honestly, RSQ8 for 100 grand.
That's a hell of a choice. Yeah.
600
Fuck
LT
the Cayenne.
SVJ RSQ8.
That's a Urus. You have a Urus at that.
Yeah.
point.
yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
That's my
Man, that's pretty good.
that is pretty
Yeah, that's
good.
pretty
I'm
good.
feeling good about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of upset how well you answered that one. I thought I killed that one.
You did, you
also
did.
killed that one. That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Whose garage do you pick? My garage? Joe's garage. Do you want to do it again with a 900 so you can get in on this?
I'll go in.
We kind of killed that though. So
I'm
no
going to
pressure.
go probably Urus. No, I could still throw in a Ghost if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because those are trading at 250. I mean, that's doable. So now I've got some more money to play with. I'm going to go 250 and then do I have to get 3 cars? Okay.
Made your
SVJ.
question. So
SVJ.
you first
SVJ,
question.
SVJ. I fucking started this. Let me finish it. I'm like trying to break my own rules.
Yeah, for real. 3 cars, $900 budget.
Okay.
900,000 budget.
SVJ at 600.
Okay.
I've got 300 left. I'm getting an RS6.
Okay.
I have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a super underrated car. That car is so good at doing everything. And it qualifies for a Section 179 write-off, which people wouldn't know.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's some shit I didn't even fucking know.
Yeah. And it's a fucking station wagon. It does everything. I've kept that car for 2 years. I don't keep cars that long. So that's 100 now. So I'm at 7. I got 2 left. And then I'm going to rip 600. 600. I'm going 600 LT. And
So
I can say that not because I'm
RSQ8 and
stealing his
RS6.
question. I literally had it on my laptop today. No bullshit. Parker, Vehicle Virgins. I've gone in his car, tuned downpipes, roof scoop for
$4.
they are so fast.
What you
for
just
the
named, though,
money.
is not 200.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Downpipes, tune, roof scoop. Roof scoop, you're talking
Oh, it's
250
like
now.
it's probably 275 for like a really nice.
Like a mint one.
Yeah. But
Bro,
I would get a Spider.
That top exhaust, fucking just right here,
It's so good.
it's ridiculous.
And if you get a Spider, you can put the little rear window down.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. That when I was getting between the 720, I was debating on that. The only reason I got the 720 was because for the price jump, like 250 720 or 200 600 LT, 720 is like just stupid.
You
But
have to.
I was gonna get a set. We were in Dallas at Tactical Fleet. We were looking at a 600 LT. They had this Papaya Spark, but it was carbon to the tits. Like it was ridiculous. I
great
almost
spec.
pulled trigger on that car. And then I came back here. I found this one. I was like, no, I'm getting it.
I would have gone with a 720. If I was going to have one supercar,
720.
you have to get the 7 because it's just like less of a entry level car.
Yes.
For an extra $50K. Yeah.
That's it.
I'm
So
with you.
whose $900,000 budget garage, 3-car garage, are you taking? Joe, Gavin, or Shane?
Comment down below.
Or
boys.
to the side. We're on Instagram. Wherever you're watching.
But yeah, this has been a fucking great time.
Banger.
Epic. Thanks, boys.
Yeah.
100%.
We're
All
out.
right.